In California, a raging fire destroys homes and claims lives.
This is NBC Nightly News, reported by Garrick Utley.
Good evening. A major fire today, a brush fire in the San Francisco Bay Area. It is threatening homes and lives there. Dozens of houses have already burned to the ground in the hills above Oakland, and in the first hours, at least 5 people are reported to have been killed. Here's correspondent Bill Lagatuda.
It was an unusually warm and blustery day, and that made the fire burn harder and hotter. And at times, firefighters had to park their trucks and simply watch, helplessly. 100-foot flames fed by 30-mile-an-hour winds, which in 2 hours had engulfed a dozen homes and were feeding on more. Many of the people who live in the upscale neighborhood, which is 15 miles from San Francisco and near the landmark Claremont Hotel, were rushed from their homes, though others chose to stay and fight against tremendous odds. Many were taken to local hospitals to be treated for burns and smoke inhalation. Helicopters bombed the hills with water. A thick black cloud drifted across San Francisco Bay. At least 45 homes have been engulfed, and a fire department says the inferno is nowhere near being controlled. Bill Lagatuda, NBC News.
And now we go from California on fire, at least a good part of it, to the Middle East and the problems there. It's not often that we can bring news from the Middle East that offers much hope, but tonight we can report that 1 of 5 Americans held hostage in Lebanon is expected to be freed within the next 24 hours. That according to a statement issued by the United Nations in Beirut today. And then a short while later, the Israeli cabinet formally voted to attend the Middle East Peace Conference to begin later this month. Martin Fletcher is in Tel Aviv tonight. Martin, why the apparent movement on the hostages now?
Garrick, Israel's chief hostage negotiator says there's a delicate step-by-step process afoot that he hopes will lead to the freedom of all hostages by Christmas. The latest step, Israel has been given proof that one more of its missing servicemen is accounted for, and he's dead.
The family of Yossi Fink greeted the news almost with relief. After years of agonized hope, the facts: their son is dead, killed in Lebanon.
Our next expectation is that they'll bring both boys back for a proper Jewish burial.
The information about the fate of Yossi Fink broke a 1-month deadlock in the hostage releases, and the United Nations has said it now expects a Western hostage to be freed within the next 24 hours. That could well be the American Jesse Turner. His kidnappers said for the first time they'd allow his wife and daughter to visit with him for 1 hour. Then some Lebanese prisoners held in El Qiyam jail in South Lebanon by Israel could be released. It's all part of a very delicate and secret deal worked out by the United Nations.
Things are attuned and enmeshed, and we will do whatever we have committed ourselves to do in order to keep this initiative alive.
Israel is freeing its Lebanese prisoners in groups, 51 in the last exchange, plus 9 bodies. The kidnappers of the Western hostages are freeing them one by one. In return for the 51, the British hostage Jackie Mann was released. And whoever has information about Israel's missing servicemen in Lebanon is giving it out bit by bit. After Fink, 4 soldiers are still missing. After years of waiting, the Israeli families don't want the government to give anything away until they get the answers they seek. Tammy Arad's husband is an Air Force navigator, missing for 5 years.
Till we will get any signs of life, I think the Israeli authority shouldn't release anyone.
That's one thing on which all of Israel agrees, maybe the only thing. The cabinet voted 16-3 to attend the Mideast Peace Conference at the end of the month in Madrid, face-to-face talks with the Arab enemies. Right afterwards, though, one of the right-wing parties said it'll quit the government in protest the day the conference opens. More threatened to follow.
Prime Minister Shamir's government isn't in danger. The opposition will always support him in peace talks, but if there are more resignations, he could have the perfect excuse to call elections and delay the peace process. Garrick?
Martin Fletcher in Israel, thank you. Well, here in the United States, reaction to today's events in the Middle East came quickly indeed. As he prepared to play a round of golf in Virginia, President Bush called Israel's decision to take part in the peace conference, quote, very encouraging. And in a Philadelphia suburb where the family of hostage Joseph Sicipio counts each day of captivity for the hostages, there is new hope tonight. After hearing the news of a possible release, Sicipio's brother Thomas said, quote, this one has got to be authentic. And the wife of hostage Jesse Turner plans to leave for Beirut Tuesday to take advantage of that offer to visit him for 1 hour. She's in Boise, Idaho tonight. Good evening, Mrs. Turner. Can you tell me, when do you think you'll finally be able to see your husband face to face?
I actually plan to go this week, but I'm not sure if it will be Tuesday or not.
I see. But have you been told that when you do get there, whether you'll be able to see your husband Jesse right away, or do you think you'll have to wait? Do you have any...
I think when I reach there, I have to wait until I see a way to contact them, or if they contact me, to see my husband.
Now, you're taking your daughter with you. She's, what, 4 years old? She hasn't seen her father. What are you telling your daughter about this trip?
Actually, I told her we might go and see Daddy, but I'm not sure if we are going to see him for sure. So I don't want to put in her mind that we are going to see him for sure. I hopefully will be able to see him.
Now, obviously, it's very easy to get one's hopes up too often and too high. It's happened before. There have been disappointments. But the fact that we have the report from Beirut today, the UN says that a hostage could be released within 24 hours. Some speculation it could be your husband. How are you reacting to that?
I'm always feel hopeful, and I know that it will be releasing very soon, but I'm not sure it will be my husband. Anyone can come out. If it will be a good sign, and I will be waiting for my husband, and at least we will be hearing about the others also.
But do you think that this time we are getting close to a total release of the hostages? Are you nearing the end of this ordeal?
I guess so, because they are moving this time fast and quickly, and because of the United Nations is involving in this one, so hopefully it will be too fast.
Mrs. Turner, thank you very much for being with us from Boise, Idaho tonight.
You're welcome.
And good luck on your trip.
Thank you.
Well, the Middle East being what it is, we cannot expect everyone to be enthusiastic about these latest developments. Example, Saddam Hussein. Iraq today condemned the peace conference between Israel and its Arab neighbors as part of an American plot, that's the quote, to dominate the Middle East. Rhetoric, words, are about the only ammunition Saddam Hussein has left to use against the rest of the world. The main reason? Tough international sanctions and inspections. In Baghdad, here's Tom Asp.
United Nations inspection teams are all over Iraq these days. UN Security Council resolutions since the Gulf War have given them wide-ranging powers to strip Iraq of its ability to wage war again. Efforts to locate Saddam Hussein's nuclear and chemical weapons facilities are intensive, but eliminating all the weapons of mass destruction may take years. The UN teams will be working here for a long, long time. The UN's presence and its powers have made the Iraqis resentful. They feel humiliated, no longer in control of their own sovereignty. Saddam Hussein, well aware that the US and its allies want him overthrown before they'll consider easing pressure on Iraq, has become more defiant. He told a recent conference of Arab supporters that Iraq could survive 20 years of economic sanctions if it had to, but he appealed for pressure on the UN to lift its embargo on international trade with Iraq immediately. The sanctions are strangling Iraq. Food and medicines cost 10 times more than before the Gulf War. Today, the agriculture minister warned that next year's harvest will provide Iraq with only 10% of its needs. Iraq, once proud of its high-tech ambitions, is at a standstill. Ironically, traditional craftsmen seem to be surviving better than most. Haji Hussein and 7 of his sons build fishing boats north of Baghdad. He learned his trade from his grandfather, says his ancestors probably put Noah's Ark together somewhere near here. They build 1 boat a week, making just enough to feed the 22 people in the family. Haji Hussein says he's better off than most people these days because the majority now have no work, no money, and no hope. Nobody is strong enough to overthrow Saddam Hussein, and he won't step down. Iraq today is isolated and totally at the mercy of the United States and its allies. Tom Aswell, NBC News, Baghdad.
And as we cover this world this day, we'll go next to Louisiana to cover the controversial governor's race there. We'll be right back.
To survive in today's world, you have to follow certain basics. You have to work, and you have to eat. And both play havoc with your stomach. That's why I take Malox. Malox is the strongest antacid there is. It works fast to stop the burning and churning in no time. And who knows more about stomach problems than Malox? You know, it's a funny thing. I started taking Malox because the doctor told me it was strongest. I keep on taking it because my stomach tells me it's fast.
hit by an annual fee. Carry the card that doesn't charge one. And keep yourself out of the hole. Pays to discover.
I thought all no-stick cooking sprays were just like Pam. Boy, was I wrong.
Only Pam is all natural with no preservatives. Only Pam.
And Pam adds virtually no fat or calories. For healthier meals.
All natural Pam. A healthier way to cook.
The results are now in from Louisiana, and there will be a runoff next month in the race for governor there. Republican David Duke, the former white supremacist, will face former Governor Edwin Edwards, a Democrat. Here's correspondent Lisa Myers.
Somebody will get it next.
The nightmare Governor Buddy Roemer warned of came true. Louisiana now must choose between Duke, a former Klansman, and Edwards, who's repeatedly been investigated for corruption.
As I have said all along, you're looking at number one.
For Roemer, a Democrat who recently turned Republican, finishing a poor third was a stinging rebuke after 4 years of unpopular reform.
And tonight the people spoke. And they said, Buddy, thanks, but you didn't do enough. And I think that's fair.
For the flamboyant Edwards, the night was sweet revenge. He was defeated by Roemer 4 years ago. Yesterday, he won 34% of the vote, thanks to overwhelming support from black voters.
And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank the wonderful people of Louisiana for giving me another chance.
But the biggest winner of all was David Duke. He was repudiated by both state and national Republican parties, yet finished a strong second with 32% of the vote. He immediately launched the campaign against Edwards.
Edwin Edwards is a very strong member of the NAACP. He's worked for set-asides. He's been a very big taxer, a big spender.
Why did Duke do so well? Well, race clearly was one factor. His speeches are loaded with code words which appeal to racial prejudices. But experts say Duke's appeal is much broader than race alone.
He's touching a chord that reflects the frustration of many Americans, and that pushes him into the mainstream.
That chord is a rising national tide of voter anger and alienation. One of Duke's main targets, welfare.
I'll make welfare recipients work for their checks, get the drugs out of their neighborhoods, and reduce the illegitimate welfare birth rate.
The cry about welfare is not just about race. The cry about welfare is about people's own frustration with their declining living standards.
Duke's victory should sound an alarm to the political establishment across the nation.
The two parties are going to have to recognize there's a frustrated electorate out there looking for someone who's going to respond to their needs.
Ultimately, the fact that Duke is tainted by racism probably will keep him from winning the runoff. But he has shown other politicians just how neglected and angry working-class America feels. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
Well, who is David Duke and what does he stand for in this campaign? Late this afternoon, I talked with him in New Orleans, Louisiana. Mr. Duke, as we saw in that report in your campaign, you've attacked Ed Edwards, your opponent, as being, quote, a very strong member of the NAACP, a major civil rights organization. Now, that doesn't have racial overtones. What does?
Well, sir, the NAACP is even more liberal than the black community. It opposed Clarence Thomas. It's worked for forced busing. You know, it's worked against the death penalty. I don't oppose him from being a member of that organization, but it's a very liberal organization, and it shows his very strong liberal positions on issues.
You said in the campaign that you are for equal rights for all Louisiana, all Louisianians. Now, who doesn't have equal rights in the state today? Whom are you referring to?
A lot of people don't have equal rights in this country. We have race norming where test scores are changed by the color of your skin. If you're white, you might have your test scores drop 30 points. If you're black, you may have them raised 30 points. I think when you take a test for a job or promotion, you should get what you score. Now, I believe in equal rights. I think these affirmative action programs and quotas are discriminatory, and I believe human rights must be for everyone.
If you do win, do you think the Republican Party, the official national party, will have to accept you as a fact?
Well, if I'm governor of Louisiana, we have 1 of 50 governors. We have too few Republican governors. I've been a good Republican representative. My Republican delegation has backed me in the House of Representatives here in Louisiana, and I'm sure the Republican administration will come to terms with me. I want to support the conservative policies of George Bush and the Republican Party.
David Duke in New Orleans, thank you for being with us this evening. And the White House today again disowned Duke. White House Chief of Staff John Sununu said, quote, David Duke is not the Republican nominee. He is an individual that has chosen to call himself a Republican, unquote. And we'll be right back.
Once again, Buick is raising the banner for quality in America. Introducing the 1992 LeSabre with a higher level of power, safety, security, and convenience. This new LeSabre is going to be one tough act to follow. LeSabre for 1992 from Buick.
It started early this morning, that feeling that something was a little off. But by noon, her fever had started to climb. Her whole body ached. And now at 5:30, she's coughing and congested. Her head is pounding. Kate Porter has the flu. And now all she can think about is relief. Theraflu relief. Theraflu is serious flu medicine doctors recommend. Soothing, hot liquid relief to ease flu symptoms fast. Theraflu, your flu misery stops here.
Oh no. Ellen, I'm knocked out.
Fetch Mommy. Fetch Mommy.
What are you doing out there?
When it's cold and rough outside, try something warm and creamy inside. Instant cream of wheat in our new honey nut flavor or original cream of wheat.
Tomorrow, you get the paper.
2 warm ways to come in from the cold.
On Focus this evening, something of interest to just about everyone, money, your money, specifically interest rates, not what you pay, but what you get. Certificates of deposit in banks, government-insured accounts. It's no longer possible to get high returns and total security together. What's an investor, an ordinary saver to do? Jeff Madrick looks at the choices.
Commercials offering financial help are everywhere these days.
Protect depositors' funds in every economic fight.
Get to age 50 without learning a few things about that.
With a little planning now, you'll feel a lot better later.
Probably no single concern comes up as often as the one that troubles Herb Sean. Rapidly falling interest rates on bank certificates of deposit.
Anybody who's owned them over the years just is going to feel a major loss.
The 59-year-old Sean bakes gourmet pastries he calls Grandma's Recipe Rugula for local stores. The business is fine, but Sean had been counting on the 10% interest he was earning on $60,000 of his savings in a bank CD to supplement that income. Now his CD is expiring and rates are way down.
I mean, you know, we're cutting it in half. So there's $3,000, and I don't know, that's, you know, that's a lot of rugula.
Investors of all kinds are trying to replace that dwindling income. In 1989, a typical 6-month bank CD paid an annual rate of more than 9%. It's now down to about 5%, and some say it will go lower. As a result, experts say many investors are looking for higher interest rates in investments that sound safe, but are riskier than they realize. Bob Oram is an investment advisor at Alex Brown.
It's really been something that's been building over several years, and now it's reached the point where there is almost a panic that's setting in.
The brokers are spending a lot of time explaining advantages and disadvantages. The advantage of a bank CD is if you put $1,000 in, you'll get your interest and your $1,000 out. But if you put, say, $1,000 in a bond fund for those higher interest payments, you'll get your interest, but there's no guarantee you'll get your full $1,000 out when you want it. Sean may have to keep his money in CDs because he may need part of his $60,000 principal. He can't get higher rates without risking some of that principal. Bob Oram thinks Lisa Scott can take some risk. She lost her job 2 years ago and needs the income, but not the principal. She had been earning nearly 10% in CDs, no longer.
I look at this and I think I don't have that income anymore, and where am I going to make up the difference?
Oram says she can invest in government bonds that pay 7.5% a year.
I think people have got to sit down and they've got to take the time to do some due diligence and make sure, you know, that they know how much additional risk they really are taking on.
The pros say overall that for Herb Schahn and many others, it is better to stay with the lower rates now being offered and cut personal expenses than take the chance of losing some of those hard-earned savings. Jeff Madrick, NBC News, New York.
And we'll be right back with more news.
Does your washing machine like to dance? When it gets unbalanced, does it strut its stuff instead of cleaning yours? What you need is a strong, silent type, the Frigidaire Horizon 2000. Unlike some washers, it adjusts to unbalanced loads and keeps on running. Frigidaire, clean clothes without the song and dance.
And now get up to $75 cash back on select new appliances from Frigidaire.
In art, matters of taste are often subjective. But in life, good taste is well defined. Fancy Feast gourmet cat food in the gold single-serving can. Exceptionally moist, uniquely delicious. For a gourmet taste to satisfy even the most discriminating connoisseurs. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
Where do you want to be in 5 years?
I had an old Studebaker truck and $300 when I started this company. In a few years, my sons will be ready to take over, and then I'd like to... I never told anybody this. I want to live in Paris and go to cooking school. Hey, that's what I want to do. Will I have the money to do it?
You could get there from here with Shearson Lehman Brothers.
When you get gas pain, you've got a choice. Your antacid or Gas X, the tablet made for gas pain. It's extra strength, 100% simethicone to get rid of gas faster than your antacid. Fight gas right with Gas X.
One date won't kill you.
My head.
And he's a very successful mortician.
Where's my Anacin 3?
For splitting headaches, Anacin 3 is strong and 100% aspirin-free.
Cecil's here.
The latest facts on crime in this country were released by the Justice Department in its annual report today. Violent crimes increased almost 11% last year compared to the year before. The report says that blacks and Hispanics are much more likely than whites to be victimized, and it's believed that almost 2/3 of all crimes in the United States are never reported. From former President Ronald Reagan, no reaction to Oliver North's new claims that Reagan knew all about the Iran-Contra affair. Ronald Reagan and his wife visited his ancestral home in Paisley, Scotland, and were honored tonight at a party at Blair Castle. He was made an honorary member of a group to promote Scotch whiskey, and he learned that one of his ancestors in Scotland was a moonshiner. Turning now to the south of France, and an historic discovery of paintings in what you might call a very old art gallery. The discovery was made along the Mediterranean coastline. Divers found an underground passage to a grotto. Inside it, wall paintings, undisturbed and in excellent condition. Experts say the paintings are at least 10,000 years old, and perhaps even older.
They go to extremes to prove the engine durability of this Cadillac.
Hold on, Art. That's Dustin.
Punishing GM's V8 with the extremes of nature, with raging sand and freezing snow. One more reason why, after 5 years of driving, no luxury car made in America is more reliable than Cadillac.
Hey, Tom, how you doing back there? Still going strong.
With 99 models redesigned and engineered, GM is putting quality on the road.
Hello? Jill? Oh, how about dinner at our house? What's wrong? Headache. I can imagine. Oh, I've got what you need. Motrin IB. Works great on headaches. My doctor said it's the same medicine as in prescription Motrin, but in non-prescription strength. One Motrin IB works as well as 2 regular Tylenol. Here.
Oh, no.
Don't look. Just keep this. Sounds like they'll need it too.
Motrin IB, recommended by thousands of doctors.
And your neighbor.
This neighborhood produces most of our Olympic team stars. It's where you'll find the Emerson Flag Company. They send thousands of flags to the Olympic Games, and for rush orders, they use express mail from the Postal Service. It offers convenient pickup service, guaranteed overnight delivery, plus great low prices, which could help a small company like this have a banner year.
We deliver
We bake pearls made of denture material in this blueberry pie to prove how powerfully Efferdent, America's leading denture cleanser, removes this tough stain, even in between. Efferdent, stronger than stains.
A late bulletin just in from Beirut in the Middle East. We want to pass it on to you from the wire. As Agence France Presse reports, the Islamic Jihad for the Liberation of Palestine has announced that it will release 1 or 2 American hostages within the next 24 hours. 1 or 2 American hostages to be freed by the kidnappers holding them. No identities or names as to who those freed hostages might be. Well, finally this evening, we turn to Clarence Thomas once again. Not his past, but his future. Now he will be on the U.S. Supreme Court. How will he handle the memory of these past weeks? Will it affect his decisions? We don't know yet, of course, but some people who know Clarence Thomas are thinking about that. Here's Robert Hager.
Did the hearings change Clarence Thomas?
I died. The person you knew, whether you voted for me or against me, died. And if you're confirmed, I'll survive. A different person.
And some of Thomas's closest friends now say that's just what happened.
I've spent time with Clarence since the hearings. I don't think it can help but change someone.
Ricky Silberman was on the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission with Thomas. Her husband was on the U.S. Court of Appeals with him.
As he said to me, and he put it best, what has happened to him within the last week has put 10 years of wisdom on his life.
Armstrong Williams, Thomas's one-time assistant at the EEOC.
I don't know how anyone would not be affected by that experience.
Lovitic Coleman went to law school with him and remains a good friend. But what about issues Thomas will weigh as a Supreme Court justice? The power of the legislative branch. It was Congress which humiliated Thomas. Abortion. It was the abortion rights women's groups which attacked Thomas. Freedom of the press. It was reporters Thomas accused of rooting through his garbage in search of dirt.
With respect to the First Amendment and the press, I can only speculate that at this point, having been dragged through every newspaper in the country, his most allegedly private moments, none of which probably were even true, personally, he may have an opinion of that. I can tell you that Clarence's judging will not be affected by that.
But on some other issues, friends say his judging could be affected.
It gave him a whole new appreciation for privacy that he never really understood before. It really gave him a whole new appreciation of equal protection.
Equal protection usually means civil rights. Thomas's previous record has been criticized by some. Privacy usually means the rights of individuals, the right to die, protection against searches without warrants, restrictions in police powers.
I think he articulated some of the feelings himself, a much even greater appreciation of the rights of privacy.
This has heightened my awareness of the importance of those protections, the importance of something that we discussed in theory: privacy, due process, equal protection, fairness.
I think that in order to be as fair as possible, which will be one of his goals, he'll take it case by case.
We may soon get clues. A college desegregation case coming up next month. Then one on the rights of mental patients. Shortly thereafter, cases on sexual harassment and pornography. It all starts November 1st. Thomas will participate in his first case conference just after taking the judicial oath. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
That's the news. I'm Garrett Utley. Good night.